Yo, yo, what up? It's a Sunday night, and we are live in the Good News studio. We turned up, we kind of chilling, and we got some really cool and special guests in the building, cool people that I really am excited to have on the show. First of all, to my right, we got my man Hassan. Hassan, he's a dope artist. You know what I'm saying? And both of them out here from Florida. And I'm gonna give you the best intro I can, but I also want you to introduce yourself because if I do, I don't want to leave too much out. And basically, I met this young brother just on the grind as I was working at Revolt, and he was basically just always in good spirits and just keeping me looped in with what he was up to while he was producing. But now he's also, in addition to producing, he's an artist and presenting his art in new creative ways, working with Dame Dash, seeing him at the BET Awards with Dame, did the Radio Room recently, just doing his thing. And it's cool to see just more shows, more opportunities coming up. Right here, we got Brittany. Look, she. I'm trying to. And so, look, wait 1 second. Look, we got Brittany in the building, and she's a hardest working woman in Hollywood. She, I'm trying to get my camera adjusted on it. So she's the hardest working woman. Yeah, she got so much going on with between artists, between events and shows and conferences and just different things to just keep you in the loop of what's going on. So I can't really do a super dope crazy bio.
That was terrible.
Yeah, but these people are just really dope people in the music industry, and they're moving and shaking, and they're gonna be like the people that you want to know. And so first of all, I gotta just give a real quick round of applause for y'all both pulling up on us. Yeah, they pulled up on us today at the Good News. This is the Relationship Game. Shout out to Detroit. You know what I'm saying? He has some family biz today, and so that's why I'm gonna hold it down. And so let's start off. Let's go back to the song right quick. Hey, introduce yourself to the people, man. Give your intro.
Nah, that was beautiful, my brother. that was really good. Nah, I appreciate it, man, and I appreciate you from day one. Just because I'm always that persistent, annoying kid that's just like, yo, listen to my this, listen to my that, and I'm that. I'm gonna be that forever.
Yeah, so, that's good.
And I appreciate you always just lending the ear and then just rocking with me throughout the years. So
yeah, man.
And super love. I love this. I love the moves you've been making and
come on, man.
Taking the power, in your own hands. So it's dope.
Yeah,
that's what we all doing. It's like we just
going for it.
Yeah, it's like Avengers. It's like we just all coming together and just getting it done. So beautiful to see that, bro.
Appreciate you, man. And Brittany, what's good? What's really,
man? Like Hassan said, it's just look at you with this the good news.
Got the good news.
This is just a vibe and a blessing. I don't even remember how we originally met because it definitely was. I didn't know you worked at Revolt until the end. You know what I mean? So that was.
It was just so many. Yeah. We were overlapping with so many different events, and we would be just like, "What are we?" You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I just know that I've known you for a minute and hustle and that's what you do. But what am I supposed to be saying? My bad.
Just give your just say hey, this is me. You know what I'm saying? What would you say you do or how you? I know you work with Dax. I know you work with some dope people in the industry, and you got a conference that you do as well. I just wanted to say I can't give all.
So just a short little bio because for those who are listening. Do we have any listeners out there?
I'm trying to get them. I got to get my grandma about to show up on Facebook real quick.
No, but recently left Capitol Records as an A&R to start my own venture as a manager and my own label. I manage Dax and a couple other people. Lil Eddie, Grammy Award-winning Latin songwriter, Young Raph, And yeah, prior to working at Capitol, I was working for Neo's label Compound Entertainment. Just a mover and shaker, man. I have my own entity called Musicology, which is a quarterly event that I do here in LA predominantly. And yeah, it's for people who want to be in the entertainment industry, who want a chance to connect with people that they normally wouldn't have access to. And then it's also an opportunity for up-and-coming artists, like whether you're an artist or a poet or whatever, just an opportunity for you to, for us to exploit your brand and provide resources to you. So we have one coming up, actually, collaboration with UCLA on October the 15th. So stay tuned for more information on that.
Dope.
Yes, sir.
And with that, like, what does somebody get? What is somebody that's gonna come to your, like you said, they get to meet people, but like, is it just somebody that's on the ground level that should come there, or should somebody that's like kind of in this industry should come there? Like, what what type of people are there?
So all right, so Musicology is that's how I got in the game. So the reason why I got to where I am is because I networked and I went to all these conferences and panels and conversations and just listened to people speak, and then found them on social media and connected and built relationships. So essentially it's the same thing, but I like to call it an interactive discussion. So we have a group of different individuals with expertise that converse about topics in music and entertainment, and then we have a showcase with artists who have some sort of talent. And yeah, it's just an interactive experience for people who want to be in entertainment, songwriters, producers, managers, everything.
That's amazing. With some recently, because we go about it, we saw this podcast, we kind of talk about relationships, and we also talk about what's going on in the world too, in addition to that. So like, something that recently happened was Antonio Brown, he just basically left the Raiders, and he wanted to like get out of his deal and whatever. So he like basically just went all out to get out of a deal, because I guess he never played one game as the Raiders, but he might have got a contract that he early on he kind of felt wasn't like a good situation. So like, my question would be like, when you in something like as a business person in the industry, like, and you get into something that you feel like isn't a good situation, like, how do you, even when you see that it's not a good, how do you get out of that and not just like, without burning the whole thing down, but that's what would you do? What would you recommend? You know what I'm saying? Y'all, either one can take that, because I know it's,
I'm gonna tap in. I think that every situation, everything is an opportunity for you to grow. So sometimes it may not be the perfect situation or thing that you feel like positive about it in that moment, but everything is an opportunity for you to grow and develop something that you need to grow. So for instance, I had a great job. I worked for an amazing label. It was my dream job. At the same time, it's all about your purpose and being fulfilled and what you're doing. So I think at the end of the day, my personal experience is that though it might have not been the best situation, it was an opportunity for me to grow my character and to build and to also make relationships for what I'm doing now. So I'm gonna pass it over to Hassan, because I know he got some stuff to say on that.
Nah, that was beautiful.
Damn.
That's better advice than I would give, because I'd probably just say burn it down.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
I think I sometimes have a history of reacting emotionally when I feel cornered, or like if I feel like it's like a blowfish. It's like they'll just react. Defense. It's like a defense mechanism to like. But yeah, I think a lot of it too is ego. So it's like trying to figure out standing strong on your stance, but then also being like, am I standing strong on this, or am I allowing ego to come in? So it's it's very difficult to have.
And you have to
discernment.
have an ego as an artist to some degree too, right?
Yeah, to get out of bed every morning.
Yeah.
Like to an extent, like you have to have some sort of like.
You have to have an ego to get out of bed?
Well, I mean, you have to have some sort of like unbelievably self like belief system. You have to have like like reality distortion. Like what they used to say Steve had. They would say, "Yo,
Steve Jobs." Okay.
Yeah, I just refer to him as Steve. I just think.
Oh, y'all cool like that?
No, I just think everyone already knows that it's like
that's the Steve.
I thought you were talking about Steve Lobel. I was like, wait.
Oh, okay.
Like Steve, they'd call him. You know, they coined the term reality distortion with him. Like, oh, Steve's reality distortion field, and but you know, at the end of the day, it's like sometimes that reality distortion is what gets you to the impossible. You know,
yeah,
it's like
definitely.
Now we're all on what people considered was his reality distortion, or like. So
did you? I'm glad you touched on that. So did you? When I seen you at not Kanye, but I seen you at Charlamagne's book signing, right?
Yeah.
And did you ever get to see Charlamagne? Did you get to like take a flip, or did you connect with him?
Yeah.
Because I was trying to connect with him and I had to leave. I was just like, it was just too much, right?
Yeah.
But it was just like, I just felt like because something that I noticed about you and just seeing how you move in the industry, and so when you break down the word lunatic, right? So lunatic means lunar, and it's based off the sun, the movement of the moon. And it's a lunar because the sun, the moon rotates around the earth or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So it just comes back around. And they say insanity, you kind of doing the same thing over, right? So they say that's a lunatic. But to make it in this business, you got to have that kind of lunatic. So it's like you coming back, like you're just like, you saying everybody, basically you knock on somebody's door, no. Then you come back again, no. You come back, you know what I'm saying? It's like, but you believe, you like, nah, what do you mean? I'm a son. I'm the son of God. I'm gonna. I'm here to be a superstar.
Yeah.
You're like, and you're just like, no, you're not a superstar. And then you just come back the next day, still like, no, I'm here. I'm here to be a
I'm here again.
like I'm here again.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And it's like, and it's almost like other people might see that and they're just like, nah, this guy's crazy. You get what I'm saying?
Majority. And even when they say yes.
Yeah.
There's still gonna be moments of there's still gonna be Judases, there's still gonna be Peters, and it's fine. I understand people want to protect certain things because of scarcity mentality. So I'm not here to even like defend or condemn any of those people. I love everybody, and the truth will always be the truth. You can't stop what is like just divinity. There's like, that's why I love Dame so much, because Dame, he fights for his truth. Now, people might have their own take on what that truth is and blah, 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 but it's his truth, and he'll fight for it to the death. And that's like me a lot. So like, I think me and him connect a lot because it's like, it's we'll go to the furthest limits. And I also love that it's like so many people want to like block certain things, like in that conversation of like you keep going to the door and knocking. Yeah. And then it's so cool when it's like, that's how God is like there, because then it's like someone is able to like, I've been around Kanye for years, and out in Wyoming and different things, just helping on the production side of things. But through all the years, it took Dame to sit Kanye down and be like, yo, listen to Hassan's album, and film the entire thing for me, so I have an hour worth of album
Kanye,
listening with
which
Kanye.
is amazing.
And
You like manifested that basically
100,000%.
Yeah, I literally can give you credit for like, that didn't happen, and you like wanted that to happen, and you like made that. You know what I'm saying?
And there was times where there was things that did happen, it just wasn't on film.
Yeah.
So it's hard to like try to tell people something that's so like, I wouldn't even believe it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have believed this situation if it wasn't on film.
Yeah,
But that's why I
yeah.
love Dame too, because he been filming shit way before Instagram.
Oh, he was on.
He was the
on
original
it.
Instagram.
On it.
Like
Live.
Like he was showing me
Yeah.
videos of like him and Jay trying like promoting Reasonable Doubt like in '95 that he's filming the whole thing like
Yeah.
them at Jack the Rapper show and like I was at his
Yeah.
crib the other day and he's like, yo, let me show you this, and he's got all of the tapes, bro. Like first time he went on a private jet with Kanye, like the first time Kanye ever went to Paris on a private jet, like Dame
That's dope.
like
Filmed
filmed
it.
it.
Yeah, that's
and
lit.
like in 2002 and shit like that,
I can't beat that.
you know.
That's fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I just think that it's like, yeah, just being able to know so much in your heart that something is like, it's just your purpose. Like people always say, especially in LA, when you move to LA, like, oh, you gotta find yourself.
Yeah.
I disagree. I think you gotta remember who you are.
What you came out here, yeah, to do.
Yeah. Like it ain't about finding nothing. It's about remembering who you were out the womb. That's who you are.
Yeah.
Everything else just tried to mold you into being some other like thing. But who you were out the womb is like your pure like adrenaline shot, like coffee. It's like that's the espresso shot right out, and you know we lose the purity through time. But if you could stay like that raw Frank Lucas Heron and not get chopped, then you know.
Stepped on, whatever.
Yeah, like that, exactly, literally.
Yeah.
Like we literally get stepped on
Yeah.
as like artists and just so.
That's crazy.
It's needed.
What you over here preaching to Brittany? She over here
Oh, he's speaking my language.
Oh yeah.
Speaking my language. I mean, he right.
And what do you feel? What are you saying he right about?
Everything. Listen, I got a tatted on my wrist. I'm destined for greatness. I believe that we are what we already are. Like he said, like people get into things and get distracted, and those are all a part of like your assignment as well. Like every attack, every obstacle, every like interaction, like nothing is by mistake. Everything is to mold you to either go towards your purpose or to go towards, you know, where you're not supposed to be. So I think that yeah, man, anything you want you can have. Anything you want you can have. It's so crazy because I'm smiling hard as shit right now because I manifested reconnecting with somebody who we had a bad like falling out, but I already knew that we would be like cool again.
Yeah,
and now
yeah.
we cool. Like it's just like, man, like just those little things are just reminders that it's all in here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how I live. Like I
And
just
so,
believe that.
what was that
everything
like?
is-
What's that experience like?
I'm smiling. you know?
To I mean,
cheesing.
what I'm saying, yeah, I mean that side of it. But what I'm saying is when you guys did connect, like,
Mm-hmm.
was it like awkward, or was it just more like, was it bigger? Was it maybe bigger than you kind of the fall? When you say falling out, you get what I'm saying? Was it bigger than what you thought it was, or was it just like, oh, we good, like, don't trip? You get what I'm
The
saying?
falling out needed to happen. Like honestly, it needed to happen for me to kind of grow because there were things that I'm accustomed to doing, like, and that needed to happen for me to kind of like become who I am now and like think in this way. So it was like, all right, we had this thing that happened, but like over time heals everything, and then like the people that you're supposed to be with and connected with,
They gonna stay,
it's always gonna be there.
They say if you love it and if you're supposed to be
This
there,
ain't even
it's
got
supposed-
nothing to do with love. This is
It's
just,
no, it's still
yeah.
relationships.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's whatever. It's I get what you're saying. It's business, but still, it's relationships, business, personal. It's all similar, or whatever. But to me,
Yeah.
at least. But if you love something, you can leave it, and if it comes back, then it's supposed to be there, whatever. You know what I'm saying? If you let it go and it doesn't come back, then you probably was supposed to let it go. That's kind of how I see it. But I be trying to be deep, right? I was gonna say, Hassan. So when I see you like at the BET Awards, you got a hoodie or something. It was said "Sand Nigger," right? It was like,
Yeah.
what was that?
Sand what?
Sand Nigger.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so
Please explain.
So Sand Nigga is a song that I have, and it's actually Dame's favorite song on the album.
Don't put Dame in this.
No, I mean I gotta put him in there because it adds to the circus of it. But nah, I mean, so just quickly in a nutshell, my father was born in Iraq, Baghdad, Iraq. My grandfather was in the parliament pre-Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein came into my father's house when he was 7 years old and decapitated their father in front of them, my grandfather. So him at 7 years old, my father, and his 15 brothers and sisters became political refugees. They had to flee the country because they fought this guy decapitated. So the mother took all the kids and fled to Jordan, Syria. They started living with the Kurdish people. So there's like Shia and Sunni like stuff going on or whatever. The Kurdish people was like the in-between people. Like they wasn't with none of the beef. So they started living with them for about 5 years, and then they ended up in Egypt for 2 years. And then finally my father got to America years later. But so the poem, it's a poem based around that. And then also when I was 15, the police raided my mom's crib and found 18 guns under my bed, and I never touched a gun in my life. And when they arrested me for that, that was the first time I heard the term "saying nigga." I never even heard the term. And they arrested me and was like, "Oh, your father must have brought these guns in from the Middle East." And I'm like, my dad's like the most meekest, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, but they arrested me and called me that. And so the poem was based around those two situations. But the poem is all about unity. It's like, it's you ain't nothing but a photo bomber, cock blocker, trash talker, name dropper, saying nigga, we the new black. I mean, fuck it, we all African. I'm straight from Iraq, screaming Mesopotamia, first human nation, Mesopotamia, first civilization. Fuck all you racists, be civil in this nation. Fuck you till you free, babe, escape from the Mason. Like, it's more about like paying homage and understanding that we all from Africa, and it's I actually probably have more. I should have more smoke with Masons than
I gotta hear the song. I just seen. I feel like I seen the hoodie, and I was like, you walking around the radio room, and I'm with Dame. I'm like, okay, I see, and that's one of the things that I know. Like, okay, something that this makes sense that you're aware of that, because I just feel like you just living whatever your truth is, however you experience your life. You're gonna wear it. You're not gonna be like hiding it or whatever.
No, and I can't say that I didn't have reservations the night before. Dame was yo, we going to the BET radio run tomorrow, and I was like, all right, cool, yeah, I'm gonna just wear something regular. He was like, no, you should wear the shirt, and I was like.
He loved that shit.
Yeah,
I was like,
hype him up.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know about that. And he's like, no, do it.
Oh, God.
So, but, I think I had a lot of conversations with, I got to have a conversation with Talib Kweli and also GLC, who GLC is definitely not with it. And I've known GLC 10 years. And I love him and I respect him so much, and I understand that he does the historical, information. I don't have. I'm just speaking from like you said, my emotion. So when he gives me like a real conversation about this and that, I listen, and so that's what gave me the reservations. Not so much that I was scared to wear it there.
Nobody pressed you, right? Over there?
Not there, no. Yeah. But before I wore it, people pressed me who I care about, like GLC and Talib Kweli, so yeah. I mean, we're still going through the motions, but it's funny because in this video, that record is the one Kanye said he wanted to get on, and it's on video. So it's like, not that makes it justified. Because I want it to be questioned until proven. It should be questioned.
It's interesting. It's like people not everybody knows, but I was in. I served in Iraq. I was in the Army, and I went overseas in Iraq. So I definitely know that there's so there's something there to be said as far as like the struggle, as far as like, you know, it's just okay. So you add the you add the word but you add the word sand to it, right? Mm-hmm. So now it's still nigga, right? So they still degrading you, whatever, but they add sand to it just to. So in any kind of like when I did guitar rap, for example, when I touched down, they basically they call the Iraqi people Haji, right? That's because basically back in the day they had the cartoon Johnny Quest. So I didn't understand that either, because they're like, yeah, the Hajis, right? Oh, they get the Hajis to do it. Or yeah, there goes some Hajis. So I was like, what do you like? What is it? Why are they Hajis? And then they call them Hajis, and that means because Johnny Quest's homeboy was Haji. That was his homeboy from right. So he's brown, right? So I learned that, and that's just like it's a mechanism of war, basically. It's a mechanism. Anytime it's a device, essentially. Sure. Like when you go to war with somebody, whoever the ops is, they have to have some kind of name, essentially assigned to them to basically separate them from, they gotta, so you can't just say, oh yeah, these my brothers and sisters over there, let's go shoot them. You know what I'm saying? You gotta
gotta be way more clear.
It's gotta be like these others. They're others, basically. Yeah, whatever you are, you're other.
Sure.
Like we're they're this team, and then whoever the other is. You gotta so you essentially are identifying yourself as the other, but you're saying you're not with these. You're with the other, which is you're identifying as other.
I'm also. I wanted to be clear too, and I appreciate. I wasn't even going to talk about this, but I'm glad you did, because it needs to be clarified. And I think that the beautiful thing is that people need to understand. I'm not saying it as a term of endearment. Mm-hmm. I'm saying it in a negative. This is why I got called by the police officer. So for me, it's not like this. Like I'm trying to make it cool. Yo, call me to saying it. Like that's not what I'm on. Yeah. I'm telling an honest thing that happened to me, and I do think that there needs to be clarity around, like, after 9/11, people in 7-Eleven started like getting beat up.
Yeah,
and they not even Muslim. Yeah, they was Hindu.
And then and I don't think they.
They had nothing to do with like. But I'm just saying, like, even like people was like, yo, I'm against Muslims, or like the Muslim ban or whatever. People was like hopping over 7-Eleven
against them,
whooping them, and they're like, yo, we're Hindu, we're from India. But I'm just it was more rooted in like just the
brown people. They just thought brown people are the enemy, essentially.
But it showed the lack of information, right? And that's all any of this is rooted in. Any hate, any division, any of that, it's all just like lack of information. And when you don't know something, it turns into being scary. When something turns into being scary, you hate it.
Yeah.
So
you feel what you don't understand.
That's a tricky one for me. I feel like see, why we gotta have this conversation?
Hey, he brought it up. No, maybe I did. I don't know.
I did.
I think when it comes to the word nigga or nigger, I think I feel like black people in general, or like hip hop in general, like the culture of it is so how can I say this? It's so inviting, it's so welcoming, where like certain things aren't protected. So I feel like while I love that, it also kind of feels like it kind of devalues what like a black person has tried to make that be. So for instance, like this music is fucking throwing me off. It's just gonna get all sentimental now.
Yeah.
I be wanting to rap.
I know, right? We gonna have to do that.
So I can't do both.
Yeah. I don't want to get all deep, but I just feel
get
like
deep. That's all good.
I'm not, because that's just, how long is this anyway? Like I don't even know.
All right. Sorry,
like when it comes to keep the music though, it just got loud. When it comes to like Jewish people, like I feel like there's certain things that's protected in certain cultures, and I feel like when it comes to black people, we got to do a better job of protecting certain things. I don't feel like it should be okay for, and I get it, like the connection, like of, you know, being that, like being the lowest of the low. That term, it will be referred to as like a nigger, but like that association in itself, for it to be like welcoming for everybody to feel that same sort of like, I don't know. It's. I just feel like it's not.
I get what
it's
you're
not.
saying.
No, it's not protected.
I agree with you.
And I feel like you can't use that if you wasn't really like. That comes from a very, very like, and not taken away from all the bad things that happen, because that's a terrible story, and like people are doing terrible things to like Muslims and all types of people, not just black people. But I feel like when it comes to black people in particular, because I'm black, I feel like we don't protect those things within our community, and so it's just everybody gets to be everything, and then it's just like, then that's where it comes the confusion, like, well, I can say, well, why can't I say it? Well, he can say it, and it's just like all weird and shit. So that's my take on that. But you know, I respect it. I think it's a ballsy move. I think you know, yeah, man, fuck. Hey.
You was about to say something?
No,
Yes.
I just wanted to say that I agree with you.
Yeah.
And that's the irony that I've now been put into, is that I agree with you, you know, and you know.
You got it, bro. Listen. We. This water is good.
This is high quality
think-
water. Shout out to the
Sensual.
high quality water. This
Sensual
is
water.
I mean, I think we all have an opinion at the end of the day, and I think that this, regardless of the fact how anybody feels, it's good to have that type of dialogue. And I think when people become afraid to say like, well, that's how I feel, like, nah, like, let's have a conversation about it, because we don't talk about it, and like, shit, that's how I feel, you know what I mean? But you might feel
No, but I
totally
really
different,
do.
But I, you know what I mean? Like,
really
let's
do
have a
agree with
talk.
that.
Yeah.
like the only time I say it is
Yeah.
during that poem. It's not
Yeah.
like I walk
Yeah.
around, I'm
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
saying it all the time.
Right.
Because if you want to know my personal opinion, I don't think anyone should say it. But that's a whole nother hot take. But I just think that you also just gotta like report the news properly. You know, shout out to the good news. You gotta report the gospel. That's what you know. That's what the gospel means.
Yeah.
The good news.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like my whole thing is like, you know, the term, are you willing to die or be broke for your art? Like Michelangelo, I think was like propositioned by the king. Like, hey, Michelangelo, you the illest painter right now. I'm gonna need you to do me a favor. I'm gonna need you to paint the Sistine Chapel, and I'm gonna need you to paint Jesus, okay? And I'm gonna give you a bunch of money to do so. But I know you like making things like, you know, accurate to what it is. And I know that they say Jesus in the Bible had, you know, hair of wool, and he was born in this area of the country, so technically he would look this way. But I'm gonna need you to paint him this way, because this is how the people that are coming into my church look. So I'm gonna need you to paint him white with blue eyes and blonde hair, because that's the people that's coming into my church. I get it. I know what the book says, but I'm paying you, so paint him this way. Now, the reason why that's so important is because if he paints Jesus the proper way, it's very difficult hundreds of years later for there to be slavery.
Yeah.
Because how do you convince the people that you're trying to enslave that that they, when God looks like them?
That's a whole.
So so the reason why it's important to depict things properly is because if you don't, then hundreds of years later, bad things can happen because the proper, you know, depiction wasn't done.
Yeah.
So like when this world is over with, they're gonna like dig up the Statue of Liberty and think that we worship that or something like that, and that was something made for another country, and they rejected that and gave it to us as like a leftover, and we'll never think about that. Like, you know, so there's a lot of like iconography and just like different things that, you know, we get so emotionally, you know, surrounded in, and we don't, you know. So
I was gonna say, Brittany, I definitely see
Are
what
those prescriptions?
these.
Yeah.
What?
The glasses. I'm just trying to figure out what you so cool in here. You got
I want to look cool.
All right, my bad.
I want to have rose-colored glasses on, so then I see the world the way I want to see it. You know, that's also part of what I like. So you know how they say that you got rose-colored glasses on? You ever heard that expression?
No,
Yeah.
what's the expression?
So the rose-colored glasses is like, so when you have rose-colored glasses on, you basically see the world in red. And you're just like, why is everything red? Oh, because you got rose-colored glasses on. So then it's like, for me, similar to all of us, we all see the things from our own perspective. You know what I'm saying? So then you're like, all right, with me, I'm dance hustle. That's my thing, or whatever. I'm dance hustle on too. So then everything that I talk about or move, it's like, it's through a certain lens. So I see dance, like I see dance in like music. I see it in fashion. I see it in all these different things, and that's my point of view. Mm-hmm. But obviously, if you take the glasses off, then you might see a different point of view.
I just wanted to know if there was prescription.
I know, but I gave you the long answer. It's a podcast. I need to stretch this out. Can't just say yes or no.
It's dope, though.
All right, but so then what you were saying, your point, and my boy Ice Life, he a while back when you were saying like certain things could just be like meant for groups of people, like everybody. So certain groups of people have sacred things that are just like, this is us, this is what we could talk. You know,
I just feel like certain people and specifically like the American culture are protected. Like, you know, like I referred to like Jewish people. Like anybody can't just say like I'm Jewish. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like they're like when it comes to Black culture specifically, it's not protected, and there's things that have happened, but that's our own fault because everybody sees, like you said, in a different way. Like you got people who didn't have any bad experiences, so they might think in this way, or you know. So I just, you know, we just all have different perspectives. Like we all kind of grew differently, but in my opinion, like looking at the full scope of it, I feel like certain things should be a little more protected. But
for example, my good friend, my brother Ice Life, he would say like,
who's that?
Ice Life. He's a poet. He's from the Bay, Oakland. So he basically would be like, you know, you have like Asian friends or whatever, right? But no matter how tight you are with them, they're not about to let you in the be in the front of the track at the parade or whatever. Be like, yo, you know what I'm saying, holding it down. You feel me? And I mean, I feel like that's real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Us as Black people, we kind of are so. We have a lot of stuff going on. Like we're kind of a little bit, you know. We're kind of broken down into like, we've kind of broken ourselves down, and then we kind of like, so we have like Black people, we got people that's part of the islands, you know, and then we're all over the diaspora, right? So it's not just like we all might be Black, but I was, you know, you Jamaican, or you know what I'm saying, you from, I know we talked about it. So somebody's from another island. So now we broken up in the islands, even though walking down the street, everybody just see Black people. But this brother's from South Africa. This brother's from West Africa. This brother, whatever. Yeah. So now it's like, we all got the Black sauce technically, but technically we also, like, you go to Leimert Park, you know what I'm saying? It's not just one Black. You know what I'm saying? It's Black as a whole, but then there's still, then we break it down, and now it's only like, now it's a lot of different Blacks. You know
that's
what I'm saying?
With everything. Like he, like Hassan was just saying, like he's from, not Israel. My bad, bro. You're from the Middle East. There's a lot of different types of Middle Eastern people. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of Hispanic people. Like everybody's different, you know what I mean? But I'm specifically talking about like American culture, like more so like the American culture, because, you know, but we get deep.
Can I touch on that? Because what you just said about Middle East, I think Middle East is offensive.
Really?
Because it doesn't exist. What does that even mean? The Middle East?
Well, who made
said
that up?
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
Because to me, the Middle East is, this is from the knowledge that I've had, from speaking with people who are like historian type of people. The Middle East and Africa were connected once upon a time. They created a man-made river to separate the two for like sailing, like a lot of different things, like for, you know, and I think they wanted to separate the economics, because everyone's holy land is in the Middle East. If you Jewish, if you Muslim, if you Christian, everyone's holy land is in the same exact area. That's why there's war. Because, well, that's not the only reason, but that's a big reason.
Yeah.
Everybody is in this one area. So how you keep Africa like economically like messed up? Separate the two. Because if you had all that economic money coming through, it'd be, you know, and just to separate, you know. So I think there was a lot of separation. It's a man-made river.
Yeah, definitely.
The two.
It will speak.
I mean, there's just a lot of truth to that. A lot of things happen that to create that separation and division, like.
So that's my point. So that's what I'm really saying in the poem, and maybe that's what I need to start out the gate, start saying.
Yeah, because
as the front runner, because all I'm saying is that's what I'm saying. I'm from Iraq. Fuck it, we all African. I'm straight from Iraq, meaning it's all
connected.
One.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy is I'm in if you ever look up Iraq, is where Abraham is from. So Abraham is from Iraq, and so it's like you are, but I might be saying it wrong. But Iraq, I went there. So Abraham was from Iraq. His house, where he shattered all the doggone idols and stuff. Yeah. Like his house is the same. At the time when Saddam was in power, the Catholic head of Catholic went to go there and pray in his house. So they like refixed it up. But all that to say is they got pyramids. They got pyramids there. It's kind of a little bit different than the pyramids in Africa, but it's like clearly same, you know, similar kind of architecture or whatever, right? So they got like similar stuff going on, and then on top of that, it used to be like a holy land where people was taken care of. It wasn't just all desert and sand. You know, it was places where people were living and thriving, and the land was like good. Sure. And so, but then over years, it became this kind of desert kind of place. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so I definitely know exactly what you're saying. Like, it ain't just if you see, okay, now this place is thriving and is all nice, and this place isn't, so this is the holy land, right. And this is just some desert land. It's like, that's not how this thing works. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's just like, no, if you take care of a place and you have it thriving, then it's gonna
and to think Egypt is Africa.
Yeah.
But most people don't even like
connect the two.
People are like, oh, that's like Arabic.
But that's intentional though.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's what I'm saying. The whole thing's intentional. It's not. It's deeper than just Egypt. It's the whole freaking situation of it. So that actually made me feel the best right now.
Yeah.
So
see, but that's why it's good to have these conversations, because it's like, yeah, you might have had those things in the back of your head, but like having these discussions are super like imperative, man. And regardless, I'm learning from you. You know what I mean? I'm learning from everybody. So I think that we just got to have these discussions more and more.
Open dialogue.
Shout out to the good news.
Yeah. Hey, we doing good news. And so I'm going to switch gears just a little bit. And I know I ain't going to keep y'all, because we all busy people. But you mentioned earlier
I got to pick up the kids.
You mentioned earlier about you got your Judases and you got your Peters, right? And there's always, and he's deep, so I always want to ask philosophy. So there's this debate that one of my teachers like the Bible. What's the people that teach the Bible, whatever? In
theologians.
The theologians. So there's this theologian debate or whatever that they say. So Peter denied Christ, right? And so that was kind of your reference in the sense of like somebody might deny Christ. So like when he denied Christ, part of the theory is like people basically they didn't understand who Jesus was until after he passed, and then they just so once they understood, so essentially it wasn't that it was basically like they came up and they were disciples of Christ, but at the same time they were a part of something, but they also didn't understand what they was a part of until after they was a part of it. You get what I'm saying?
Sure.
And so that's why he was able to deny him, because he's like, he doesn't really understand that who is it not. Oh, who is this guy that's so amazing? Da, da, da. He's like, no, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's like, in a sense, and people have made this comparison. It's not the first time or the last time, but to, like, for instance, people that follow Nipsey Hussle to this day, right? They, in this real time, in this real instance, like, they never people that really was friends with Nipsey Hussle, that followed him, they didn't necessarily really understand who he was or who he would represent for this generation until after he passed. You get what I'm saying? And so, you know, it's just like just like that, meaning like, I followed him, I listened to him, I took pictures of him, but I didn't know, we never knew that we was talking to, like, basically at least this generation's Tupac. You know what I'm saying? Of like, oh my God, like, this is a once in a generation kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? And then after he passed, you're like, oh snap, this is that, he was him. He was living his raps. He was being this person. Like, so how
that's with everything though. Like with anybody, like we don't appreciate people until they pass. They have more significance. Like, you know, their contribution is more, it's more magnified when they pass. Or like, even when people get incarcerated, they become like more glorified because you know what I mean? Like, you don't have access to them. So I think like with Nipsey, I think it was just more light. It's so much competition, and yeah, he was doing so many great things, and yeah, they were being spoken about, but when he passed, all the light was on him. So it gave an opportunity to really just have everybody focus and hone in on like what this man was actually able to accomplish, and still, you know, after his passing, what he implemented. So I think it's always going to be that way. I don't think anybody, like, if Jay-Z died,
you're not going to,
you know
get
what I mean?
time.
Like,
yeah.
God forbid, if something happened to or another legend, like, it's going to be the same way. It's like,
they're going to be like, oh, he's a legend. He's a legend.
You know, he did all these things. Like, it's just always going to be that way. So, what you got over here, Dr. Hassan?
Yeah, I mean, it's something actually we talk about a lot, you know, because we always joke about the fact that the Bible is like Jesus' album, but he didn't write any of it.
He didn't write none of that shit.
The gospel according to Paul, the gospel according to Luke.
Everybody else.
And, you know, so it's funny how, like, you know, people give people all this, like, ghostwriter hell. And it's like, but like, you know, Jesus had the original, like, curation team and stuff like that.
That's a bar right there.
Yeah, but the reason why I think that connects with your question is because, to me, I always look at it like the 12 disciples was like the first 12-man camera crew that was following him around. So it was like a reality show of 12 different angles. And sometimes as a human being, you're walking through life, you don't get to see all the angles because you're so like tunnel vision, right? You're focused on whatever it is. So you're not capturing all these different angles. So, you know, sometimes the disciples are more important than even the you know, maybe even the message, because it's them having to deliver it. So I think a lot of times, you know, the person has to kind of get out of the way in order for the disciples and then apostles, you know, to really, you know, like Steve had to get out the way for Apple to become like, you know, this like next level thing, because sometimes the person is so, they're almost too big, like they're too big. There's no space for it to grow in a weird way. It's like Steve always talked about, death is life's greatest cleansing agent. Like there will have to be a time where this, you know, this thing has to be removed so that the vision can actually be realized. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like Martin Luther King or Malcolm or
Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah, whoever. You know, you put whatever, but these people are so big that there's like no room for anything
like giants
to happen.
or something.
Yeah. So by default, when that's out, now the room is able to be filled up with more, disciples. Like there's this girl that I've talked to for the past 10 years of my life. We're not together anymore, but she's so vital in my life because she's a witness. She's seen it. Like what you said earlier about watching me grow the past couple years, you know how important that is for the story?
Yeah, definitely.
It's an ego thing, but it's important because she's seen the story.
Yeah, definitely.
The past 10 years. So the reason why I still talk to her, I think, I love her, but it's more because of like, you're a witness. Like LeBron, remember them LeBron James ads? Witness or whatever?
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah, definitely.
It's important to have witnesses.
Yeah.
So,
and also I seen a quote, they just said, it was like, support, money isn't the only way to support somebody, and like believing in somebody is free. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, like you said, you got on in the industry early. Like for me, I learned something early on. It's like, when you got a certain kind of drive, like I'll just bet on that personally. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Because it's like at the end of the day, we all know people that's at the top that's like that probably got that aren't necessarily the most talented people on the planet, but they're in a position because of some people, because of their work ethic, because of luck, whatever. But the case is like at the end of the day, hard work beats talent when talent won't work. So meaning like if you could, it's people that's in this game, that's in the league, even like in the real NBA or whatever, that they might have got on and they might have been like a walk on, but then they walk on and next thing you know, they outworking the starters. You know what I'm saying? Because they wasn't supposed to be there anyway. And I feel like that's what I see from all of us. Like I see when you out, I know that you chilling, but you are not chilling, but you might look like you chilling, but you like really kind of working. No, I'm serious. Like like we always working. But I'm saying, like what I'm saying, working. I don't feel like everybody works different. You know what I'm saying? Everybody you might work the room one way, I might work the room a different way, but you still working. You get what I'm saying? And so at the same time, like we all putting in this work. We all, if you see me out, I see you out. It's like we all going towards this marathon, this goal, and it's all coming together. And I think that a lot of times people kind of get overlooked as on they come up. You know what I'm saying? And they kind of just see, a lot of the people at the top. It's almost like one of those things where you see like say for instance you got Diddy and Jay-Z and Beyonce and all them. They're like they're so far removed from us. They're like astronauts. They're probably like on a whole nother, like, you know what I'm saying? So they can't.
I don't believe that. I don't think they're far removed. What do you mean?
Meaning like they don't got the ears to the streets per se. Maybe through the internet a little bit, but they're removed as far as like we're actually beating the pavement. You know what I'm saying? Like you see how we're here right now in this space. Like we're on the pavement. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They're getting like call. They might be like a comparison. They're like on a private jet getting a call. Yo, you hear about this guy? You know what I'm saying? He's tight. Or do you hear about this? You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna beat the pavement no more. And not that they should be either. But I'm saying we're like sometimes you're gonna when you do have you're on the streets. You're gonna find that talent. You're gonna find those diamonds in the rough. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of times they are just as much like invested or like having their ear connected to the street because they feel, you know what I mean? Like they're not in the midst of it like physically, but they have people. They got people. They be knowing,
but it's through other people's ear. Yeah. It's not through their own lens per se. Right. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, maybe through the internet. Drake is a perfect example. There's nobody on the come up that's gonna get past Drake. Seriously, like if you're that next person, Drake is trying to get you.
Doing a song with you.
Yeah, he's gonna do a song with you before you even got us. He heard about you from your SoundCloud. You get what I'm saying? Like he's just like he's great at that. I'm not, but at the same time, that's not just him. That's his people, his team. He got a dope assemble of people that's gonna know what the next thing is. You know what I'm saying? Like we're got our own taste level. So if I can, what I'm trying to say is like, at this point you gotta have your own taste level, and you also gotta tap in with people that are on that come up as well, and you just meet. Me personally, my experience has been like, if I was at Revolt and you know this person, like you know this, like I'm gonna link with you, I'm gonna tap in with you. I'm not just gonna be like, oh yeah, you ain't got a gold record, so but I saw that in these meetings. I saw like people's, you know, like that. I'm like, I think they're kind of dope. I mean, maybe they still like, you feel me? Like I don't know if they're just the hottest new thing, but when I've seen it become like, oh yeah, maybe not this person, to like, oh shit, they're lit now, and then they're scrambling to try to, you know what I'm saying, get this person. You just like, well, they were knocking on his door like literally like a week ago. Like you could have just had them come in, but it's one of those things where it's like, look, invest in people, take time, because those things, and then you tap in with somebody and you see their journey. You're able to see like, oh shit, they lit, and you're not some kind of Johnny come lately. You know what I'm saying? You all of a sudden like, nah, I link with you. I tapped in with you. I saw what you was doing. I listened to your album. I took a little bit of my time. We had some coffee or whatever. Maybe I couldn't, do what I couldn't, do a bunch of stuff, but at least you know that it's acknowledgement. And I think when you're an artist, that those little things go such a long way. You know what I'm saying? Because if you try to wait till you're a platinum artist, you in a clutter with everybody else. You might be going to spam at that point, because it's like, wait a second,
definitely going to spam.
Yeah, it's like, what?
No response.
You ain't even fucking listen to my sing. I was just trying to have a coffee, shit. That was, you know what I'm saying?
That's real.
So I had to I learned that early on, because it was so many, it's so many executives and so many people in these buildings that that rely on their interns, are the people that are coming up they're the ones that have the ears, and they're the ones that they come up to them and they're like, yo, I think this dude is going to be blowing up. And then I'll see the list and I'll be like, nah, I'm not feeling it. I'm like, damn, y'all wasn't at the party when everybody in the party was turning up to this record, and y'all ain't at the party. And then through the internet, I give them credit, because if you really on top of your game, you can kind of stay in a loop. If you follow the right people and you really on it like that, you can kind of stay in it as an executive. But it's not as you gotta really have your feet on the pavement, and you're gonna find these artists.
You gotta be out. You gotta be out in the midst, feel the energy. That's why, like, I always said, like, I'm an old school A&R. Like, I operate with a purpose. So if I go to anything, it's because there's an intention. So
yeah,
if I
definitely
like an artist that I'm interested in signing, like, I need to see their live performance. I need to see how they move the room. I need to see how they interact. Like, yeah, they could be popping on social media, or they can only have 500 followers on social media, but it's about how the people, like,
embrace them.
Like, I think that's important. But yeah, a lot of executives are that way. Those are the ones who I plead the fifth.
Yeah.
I can't say nothing.
You ain't saying no names.
I was gonna say nope.
Yeah.
I love the labels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
But we are, look, I've been there and done that, and I just, it's frustrating sometimes when you really believe in certain people, or have a good feeling about people, and you feel like,
yeah, but nowadays you don't even need a label. Like, I didn't know about Hassan now, but now I'm gonna go listen to his music. I think, like, man, we're living in the best time right now where you really can create your dynamic, like, you have control. You got social media, you have there's so many venues where you can perform. Like, there's no reason why you shouldn't have something going if you're trying to be a real artist. So
yeah,
you don't need a label. Like, that's like the last thing you need, honestly. That's just more of a headache. So
more red tape.
Lots of red tape.
And what we're gonna wrap it up. So what's that? I want to just end with like some gems, because that was a gem right there as far as not needing a label. Like, what, as an artist, you know what I'm saying, that's don't want to have executives all in the videos, dancing. Nah, but so what is it like? I'm like, you said it's a lot of venues, and you know you trying to be an artist, but I'm like, doesn't all that stuff? Don't you need money? You get what I'm saying? Like if you're an artist and you say you dope,
I believe if you're an artist, you're gonna stand out.
Yeah.
You're gonna stand out. If you're supposed to be an artist, everybody's not supposed to be an artist.
Okay.
That's the thing. Everybody, a lot of people can rap, but everybody's not meant to be an artist. So I think that, bro, when it's supposed to be your thing, all the universe will align. Like, things will happen for you, but you got to put yourself in position. You got to practice. You got to study. You got to go to the places where you know people gonna be. You got to be in the right spots. You can't be thirsty. You can't be DMing people, hey, listen to my music, it just dropped. You gotta move in a certain way, man. I know, and it's not easy. I'm not an artist, but you know, I have worked on the other side, so I get a lot of it, and that's just the real honesty to it. I think the music will speak for itself. Your persona will speak for itself, and I should feel like I'm in the presence of an artist when you say you're an artist. Like, I shouldn't even have to ask you, like, oh, okay, he's an artist, she's an artist. Like, I get that vibe. So, yeah, I don't know. That's my gym.
Yeah, no, that was
not rocket science shit. Someone
Yeah.
to tell you, you know what I mean? Like, he's been able to, he got the attention of Dame Dash. He did something right, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, the right people are always gonna find you, always.
And is it people? Actually, it's like, is it over your time frame? Is people that you kind of didn't think they was gonna do what they did, but they ended up doing it, or vice versa? Like, how's that been for you?
People
Like, artists that's been like, yo, I'm dope, like, check me out, and then you be like, yeah, I don't know, and then they end up being like super dope, or just somebody that you feel like.
Everyone who I know, everyone who I think is dope, or everyone who I think has should be an artist, always makes it. Every single person. And I was the person at the label, like, yo, we need to sign this person, or this person is doing that. And they be like, oh, well, let's just keep checking in or whatever. Like, keep us posted, keep us updated and stuff. And then that person goes sign somewhere else, or like they start to make it and things like that. So I just believe that there's some people that probably hate me because I haven't responded to their DMs, but I believe social media, you gotta use it tactfully, so you can't spam somebody, you know.
Yeah, spam. Oh, I don't like that.
You gotta be smart and creative and have a different approach. Like, if you want somebody to check out your music, you gotta come at them in a different way, because everybody's asking the same thing in the same way. So if you're supposed to stand out. Do something that's gonna get my attention.
Yeah.
So.
And listening to, and my last question, what, like,
we gotta get Hassan. We gotta get the
I know. I'm sorry, but you going. Come on,
like,
just give me one more question.
One
more question. All right, listening to your music. All right, a lot of artists want you to listen to their music, but I'm like, is that like, okay? Is after you listen to their music, is that like, okay? They like, oh shit, this music that you, whatever, this 3-minute track that you sent me was like the greatest thing. I want to sign you. Is that was that what they're expecting, or is that how that works? I'm like,
I really don't know what people expect, man.
I'm just wondering.
I swear to God, because it's like, yo, if I say your music is dope, and then what? It's like, that doesn't mean that I can help everybody whose music I think is dope.
Yeah.
If you're special, that's gonna trigger something different, or, you know. But you can't help everybody, and maybe it's, hey man, your music is dope. Maybe you should work with this person. Maybe that's all you need from me.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not.
Okay.
Hey, can you manage me? Can you sign me? Can you help me get a deal? Like, I think that's the problem too. You gotta have the expectations. Like, you gotta know that everybody can't do what you're expecting them to do.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just you wanted me to listen to your music, and I listened to it, and I gave you my honest feedback. And that's it.
Yeah, that was the thing. Yeah.
Hey man, like, I'm checking. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, it's like, yo, your expectations gotta be intact. You can't.
Yeah.
The right person, it'll trigger the right response. You know what I mean? The response you're looking for. But yeah.
All right.
Hassan, my throat.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. Get that essential water right here. All right, bro. Hey, man, we appreciate you pulling up, man. Like, what's going on with you? What you got going on?
No, he got to answer those same questions.
Oh, I got to press him too.
No, because those is good. He's an artist.
All right, so tell me this. All right, when you DM somebody, right, and you're like, yo, I got this track. Like, what's your levels of expectations, and what's your experience like as far as an artist trying to be seen and noticed and all that? You know what I mean?
I mean, I think for me, I'm a producer first. So, and that was conscious because I knew that an artist, for the most part, this is going to sound kind of negative, but an artist is kind of a liability because they need a lot. A producer can be like looked at as like an asset. Like, oh, I got 5 artists on my label. Maybe he got tracks for all 5 of them, and that's what helped me get meetings.
Smart.
Was that for the first 5 years in LA, I was just like knocking on doors, like, hey, I heard y'all had a party last night. I got a broom. Can I come in and clean up? Everybody wants help. Everybody likes help.
Yeah, definitely.
So me being a producer allowed me to get into all these meetings with people. I knew Dame for 4 years. He didn't know I was an artist until the 4th year.
Yeah.
Like we were in Wyoming last summer for Kanye's thing, and he was like, you an artist? And I was like, yeah, I got a whole like album. And he was like, I thought you just produced, bro. So when we came back
good
to
Dame
LA,
good Dame impersonation too.
I was like, what the fuck? But yeah, and then we sat down and he was like, yo, like you produce and you know what I mean? So I think you also have to like you got to figure out how you can be of worth to someone's situation. You gotta add. You can't just come in and
smoke all the weed and drink up all the drink and just be in the studio like I got a couple bars in my head when I feel the beat
and be hitting A&Rs or managers and the first 5 things are gimme. I need a label. I need a manager. I need money for a video. It's like.
What the hell are you doing?
I understand because I get it, but also
you've been on that side of it.
Yeah, but I'm also I'm always coming with solutions. Yeah, and I'm like, hey, I'm more in the meeting. Like, I got this idea that can help everyone. Just help me help everyone.
There you go. Yeah, that's good.
Like
that's good.
Like this event that I'm doing, and now I'll segue into
what you got. Go ahead, man.
Like. And I want to shout out Dax actually came to this event last year. So I want to shout out to him as my man.
Shout out Dax because he's a hard working brother too.
He's very
we about
creative.
To have a meeting right after this.
Hey,
well tell him you just sat with Hassan. He'll be happy. And he came last year, and I don't know if there's a way we can play. I have a minute trailer for the event of last year. I think he's in the trailer, and but maybe we could play it or pull it up. But basically, what I did last year was a live beat auction, where I basically said I don't want to email beats anymore.
Yeah,
I want to hold these beat installations every 3 months.
Oh, that's dope.
So there's spring summer collection of beats. And then in 3 months, we do the fall winter collection of beats. And while the beats are playing, there's QR codes on the wall. You take your phone, scan the QR code, and you can place a bid on the beat in real time while it's playing.
That's dope.
So whoever bids the highest bid gets sent the stems to the beat immediately to their phone. Oof. No email.
Come on, that's ill, right? That's ill.
So the video, I really want to show you the video.
Yeah,
but
I'm gonna throw the video on this clip.
In the video, that's one of the things I was showing Kanye. I was showing Kanye the recap video of that night, and as he's watching it, the beats played, and he started rapping to the beats, and I was like, I was actually showing Ryan Press at Warner Chappell because I just did a deal with them, and he was like, wait a minute, this is innovative, but like, how can we help with this for the next one? And I showed him the footage, and he was like, wait a minute, Kanye is doing exactly your proof of concept. Mm-hmm. The fact that you're in the room with him, you're playing the beats, and he's right there interacting with the moment. This is what you were trying to do in the first place with the no emailing of it. And I was like, you're right. This should be the trailer for this year's event.
Yeah. That's ill.
So we're gonna do it again at Dame's.
When is it?
October 19th.
Damn.
Where you at?
We on tour. We on First show
Dax.
October 18th.
Oh,
okay.
my album comes out October 18th.
Yeah,
It's
wow.
a good special day, huh?
Hey.
Special day.
So that will act as like an album release party and
Nice.
also this beat installation. And we're doing it at Dame Dash's Art Gallery in Burbank.
Yeah,
That's so
Man,
ill,
that's dope.
man.
Dang, I want to be there.
Hold on, I gotta give y'all.
We gotta collab.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for the tour and for the art installation drop, we gotta give y'all some round of applause. You know, that's
Hey.
ill.
Well, you
Appreciate.
got before we end though, you got to put on a beat.
Okay.
Sean got to rap. I'm gonna do a
Yeah.
little freestyle.
Oh,
too,
you guys
know?
gonna-
Right,
Yeah,
listen,
you
I-
can
listen.
freestyle first.
No,
All
you
right.
freestyle game
Hold
is-
on. What do I gotta look up? I gotta find one of these. Where I'm gonna find a beat that you
One
gonna.
of the ones you was playing was
One of
dope.
those. That's like a vibe beat. You on a vibe?
I saw Hassan like whatever Hassan like. I just want to see. You know what I mean?
My
All right.
freestyle game weak.
Hey, say something you.
I don't know. Just say so. Yeah, the freestyles ain't really freestyles no more.
I know, but like
It's freestyle because you don't know the beat, I guess. But that's ill, man. I appreciate. I just think that
That's
is
dope. That's a dope.
yeah,
concept.
yeah. And I
Innovative.
I would say
Thank
that when I was listening to you, I was just having this conversation outside with Diddy Gomez. He's did the show before. He does videography, and I was just telling him like, you know, just like how you are an asset. So like me, I do videography, I do pictures at events, and then I edit also.
Right.
So that's my, like I said, I came into the game. That's like my asset. You know what I'm saying? That's something that I possess. So I know that no matter what, I bring that to the table. Like
Yeah.
I don't care what room I'm in. I don't care who's at the top. You know what I'm saying? Whoever's in the room. At the end of the day, people need content. Just
Yeah.
like you say you need beats or whatever. Like Dame, you know, he's doing the network. He's doing a network, right?
Yeah.
So that means that at the end of the day, when I pull up into the room, I know that I bring something.
Yeah.
Like I have ability that you need. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And so because of that, like that's why I just continue to hone that skill because it put me in a lot of rooms.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times people don't understand that fact that it could be 10 people in the room or like in the studio or at a private party or whatever, and most people is there to sip champagne, smoke weed, and party.
Yeah.
And or they be like, I want to be there, I want to go there, I want to be backstage, I want to be there, and it's like, dog, what are you doing? Like you just want to chill, like
Yeah.
you just there to hang out. Most people there working, are they
Yeah.
hustling? Are they trying to get here? They're trying to move whatever.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Because if you capitalized on that moment, you create another moment off of that moment.
Yeah.
If you do it properly.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I just watched that whole thing you did on Sweetie.
Oh, dope.
And amazing.
Yeah, appreciate that.
I want to say that I produced on that
Oh,
album
lit.
actually. So
Lit.
I
Hey.
if you want to do a
Shameless plug.
revised version,
Hey.
I'm open for it. But
I'll do your interview next, man. After this.
no, but it was really I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it. It was
Yeah,
beautiful.
I appreciate that. Man.
But like, you know, like I was having conversations with Max, her manager,
Yeah,
like,
shout out to Max.
for years prior about me as an artist. But I was always still like in those meetings. I'm like, yo, here's some beats. Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, I got blah blah.
Keep you tapped in.
And you know, and it worked out in that situation. And so, but I just wanted to touch on that.
Yeah, because that's smart. You know, so anybody that's out there really trying to be an artist, you got to realize that you don't want to just be an artist that's gonna just come in and try to and necessarily be. You got to be an asset, and then like you said, it's a climate. It's not the climate to be like, oh, we're gonna develop you. We're gonna get this budget. It's like
And
you
with
know.
the key word is artist though. And artist means to create. And so whether it is if you write your own music, now you're a songwriter. You know what I mean? So like if you create the beat, now you're a producer. So like he said, like figuring out a way to contribute something outside of just you being a performer, because that's you know, you'll
performer,
work for hire. If you don't write, if you don't produce, you just a pretty face if you pretty or handsome. You know what I mean? So,
If it's that's an if. You said-
And if you are just a performer and you're really good at like stage designing and you care a lot about like presentation of your show, maybe you're like really good at aesthetics and
Yeah,
you can like
creative
help
director.
curate. Yeah, maybe
Man.
you're like Virgil. Like,
Facts.
yeah, it's like,
So I'm gonna put on one of these beats. So we gonna
shit.
y'all want to give them y'all. We gonna end on one of these freestyle raps, and I want to see who has. Do you guys want to give out your Do you guys
On
want to?
Instagram, social media.
Yeah, give out your Instagrams and social medias
Hey,
and
it's
all
your
that.
girl Brittany Boston. Follow me at Brittany Boston across all platforms. Brittany is spelled as Brittney Boston.
Hey, all right, here we go.
Me?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yo, Hassan, thank God on Instagram. That's like where I'm most active. And
God, big G or little G?
either or.
No, I'm just curious. I just wanted to see what you was gonna say.
I mean, either or.
I thought you were gonna give me some deep.
I thought so too, but then I was like, I don't want to stretch.
Yeah, all right. So, hey man, we about to be out. It's a good news. Hey, come on,
You gotta
man.
kick it off.
No, all right. I don't really have bars though. So, all right. So I'm gonna. I don't. All right. So here we go. Zion got some going on in his phone. He might. You know, I don't want you
looking
to.
for raps.
He's over here like Drake. This like Drake back in the
Yeah,
day.
That's what we doing?
We need some.
Yeah.
I'm like, where the
Today
bombs
was a
at?
good
I need
day.
to drop some bombs. All right, here. Brittany gonna go.
Oh, Jesus. Kick the flow, kick the dough. We chilling in here, and y'all want some more? I don't know what to say, because I'm not a rapper. I should not be rapping, but I got here. And yeah. Ooh, delete this shit.
Look,
This
the
is terrible.
beat dropped right there
What
for you.
Right.
Where it went?
trash.
I don't know.
I'm glad the beat dropped it. Yeah.
Oh, I can do a cappella.
You want to
Nah,
do
that's
There we
acapella?
go.
boring, probably. Let me try to do the beat, and then if not, you turn up a little bit. Yeah. I've been working on my people skills. Realized I don't like people still. Through a keynote at Dame's kind of a big deal. I got some bad karma coming, accepted like Kill Bill. Bad meaning bad, not bad meaning good. I feel like Mike's watching over me as he should. Like Haas, don't you dare walk that close to the edge. Be happy you have love, cause I just had the meds. NRA or NBA, they just wanna beats
Sorry,
just
that's a,
Killing us with the beat.
yeah. The
Flowing
beats
out
just
nice.
went out of nowhere.
I just do. Let me just do "Saying Nigga" real quick because we was talking about it. So let me just do
Alright.
acapella.
All right.
You ain't nothing but a photo bomber, cock blocker, trash talker, name dropper. Saying nigga, we the new black. I mean, fuck it, we all African. I'm straight from Iraq, screaming Mesopotamia, first human nation. Mesopotamia, first civilization. Fuck all you racists, be civil in this nation. Fuck you till you free, babe. Escape from the Mason. The best things in life are not things. Life is so lucid, we control our own dreams. Sign your life away, put your name up on that paper. God comes first, but being fly is second nature. Standing next to angels, playing trumpets, blowing devil horns. In perfect harmony, we forever sworn. So it's E-harmony or do the porn. Where my dogs at? Where them guards at? Saying nigga, we the new black. I mean, fuck it, we all African. I'm straight from Iraq. Screaming Mesopotamia, first human nation. Mesopotamia, first civilization. Fuck all you racists, be civil in this nation. Fuck you till you free, babe. Escape from the Mason.
Hey, give it up for the brother. Hey, we got Brittany Boston, Son the guy.
Hey, yes.
Good news. This is the relationship game on the Good News Radio, and we out.
Thank you, brother.
Peace.